everyone, welcome to my new video. As you can tell by the title down below or up above or wherever the title ends up being, we are talking about fur today. So first off, this is all gonna be fake fur. I don't use real fur. I don't think anyone in the fandom really uses real fur suits. I know in the past there's been a few realistic makers who've used like goat hair for like manes and stuff, but outside of that, for the most part, everything is fake fur. I will be having a little Word document over to the side that has all the prices, just so, well, mainly because I can't memorize all that, and this is just to refer back to. So if you see me looking to the left of the camera, I'm just looking at my little price list and specifically which each of these fur is called. My camera also only records 25 minutes, and I feel like this video might go longer. I'm going to try compressing it, but I'm going to try to get as much information as I can to you guys. So if there's like a weird cut in the middle, I apologize. So first off, we're going to start with most of the fur that can be typically found on fabric.com. It's not sponsored or anything. I just, for the most part, I shop through fabric.com, so I'm more knowledgeable of the fur that they have and have had. So this is mostly where most of this stuff is going to come from. I also have some samples from a few different places like Mendel's, CR Crafts, and fabric.com. I will have links to all 4 of these websites down below. This by no means is all of the types of fur. There are a few types that I've specifically left out because I don't think they're really for fursuits. Not saying they're bad furs, but they're just not made, or they don't meet the needs that fursuits need, like non-matting or the patterns. Usually I don't use a lot of pre-patterned fur. I will get into that once I have a sample of one that I'm going to be showing you guys. So, just start off with a long list of fur. We're going to start with the most popular and commonly used fur, and that is luxury shag. So, this fur right here, I'm going to go over like the pros and cons of each fur, by the way, because every fur I feel like has a positive side and a negative side. So, first of all, with luxury shag, the positives: it is available in a variety of colors, it is easily accessible, for the most part, it is easily shaved. This fur is also between $28 to $30 a yard, depending on where you get it from. So, when I go in the mostly easy to shave, shag, in my experience, has the largest variety of dye lot differences and just lot difference in textures. So some shag that you, like this specifically is a good lot, will shave really nicely, it doesn't leave a whole lot of marks when you shave it, and it doesn't grind down immediately. Bad lots, they will be thin, and the moment you touch a razor to these, it'll just go down to the backing. It all depends. Always order a swatch, like I've said so many times, to see what the dye is, or what the lot is that time, and always check your dye lots. For the most part, brown, silver, or brown gray, and oranges will most likely be the most that change in dye lot between like years. I haven't noticed a huge difference in reds. Blues, there's a slight difference, and then pinks, all that kind of stuff. I've never noticed a huge difference in those dye lots. Always get a swatch though. So another positive about shag is the backing. It is not scratchy. It is very strong. For the most part, it will not fray after years of working with it. There is a few that I will specifically note that has terrible backing, but for the most part, all these have really nice backing, and backing does matter, trust me. So yeah, so this is shag. You can get this on most fur websites. I also will be going into what is called Punky Muppet. Now, Punky Muppet is sold by Mendel's, and you can see, so there are these 3 guys up here. And as you can see, they look a lot like shag because they basically are shag. They are, I think, maybe like a little bit shorter, but for the most part, Punky Muppet is the same thing as luxury shag. But there's a slight price difference. Punky Muppet is $30.50, which is $30.50 on Mendel's. So slight difference. They sometimes will have different colors. Just know that Punky Muppet and luxury shag are the same. Now, within shag, they have a bunch of different types. So that's just the solid colors. They also have what is called icy shag, which I just realized this was a really bad example, and I apologize. Basically, icy shag is like shag, The base color will be what the color the backing is, and then it gradiates into a white. So if you're looking for like a husky that you want like a darker base, they have it. It comes in green, coral, red, pink, blue, other colors. Just know when you shave this down, you're just going to get the solid color. There are a few different types of shag, but they're further down in the list, so I'll get to those in a little bit. Icy shag, or candy shag, whichever you want to call it depending on the website, is about $35 a yard. So the next fur is Mongolian, I think that's how to pronounce it, fur. So this stuff is about $31, I think, across the board a yard, and it is crap. So this is one of those furs I do not suggest for fursuits. I made a personal suit with it, and I regretted every moment. So, I never got to the bad stuff about shag. Apologies. So the bad part about shag, which is why a lot of makers don't like using it, when it's freshly brushed, it looks good. 5 seconds after you wear it, it gets like... Man, let me just rough this guy up. So it starts to look like that. So when it's freshly brushed, it looks really nice and perfect, but then after you wear it, basically once you leave the hotel room, it can get ruffled really easily. It also mattes. When you have it in like the high friction areas such as your crotch or underarm, it does matte really quickly. It's a longer type of fur, so it's gonna do that anyways, but that is one of the negatives about shag, which is why a lot of makers have started moving away from it. So Mongolian shag, you literally look at it and it looks like this. So you can brush it and it can look really nice. You look away, you look back, it looks like this. Magic. So it does have a longer pile. So I guess if you're only using it for like cheeks, the cheek fluff, or like the ear fluff, not that bad. But when you try using it in a larger area, it will look terrible. Some people have gotten it to look nice. I've never been one of those. They always ends up looking like this. It mattes so fast. There's really not a lot of positives about this. It's thin. The backing is pretty standard to what shag is, but I do not recommend using Mongolian. Like I said, fine for like accent things. And it also does not shave very well, which I found out. So we're also going to be getting into the next three furs. Next three furs specifically are furs I do not recommend you get. They are from fabric.com. And so the first up is Weasel. So Weasel, like this, it's a shorter pile. It's going to be shorter than Beaver. It's like Super Seal, which I don't have any examples of because I have never used Super Seal because I got some swatches in, I hated them and threw them away. So it is a short, cheaper fur. Sorry, I have fur all in my mouth right now. This fur is good small quantities. Like if you really cannot find the fabric you want, I'm sorry, I have fur everywhere. This can work in a pinch. Do not shave this. And it is thin, so just be aware it is thin. If you like move it back, there's no way I'm gonna be able to show you guys, but you see the backing from the front. So Weasel is going to be $14 a yard, so it is cheaper. So if you're like furring your first head and you don't want to spend the higher price, go with Weasel. Like I said, you can't shave it, but it's a good starter fur. There's really no pros except that it's short. So the next fur is going to be Fabric.com's Gorilla. So Gorilla is $20 a yard. It is slightly longer than standard shag, as you can see, but it is thinner, a lot thinner. I would not try to shave this. For accent pieces such as the cheek fluff or the ears like Mongolian, you can get this. I think I'd probably prefer this over Mongolian, but it's still, don't buy it. If you're going to make a whole body out of this, don't buy Gorilla fur. So yeah, the pros wise, it's got a nice backing like almost all Distinctive Fabrics does, and it's longer. For me, the cons outweigh that fur. So the next fur is the cheapest fur that we have. Is it? Actually, no, it's not. This is more expensive than the other two. My apologies. It feels like the cheapest. So the next is Monkey. So monkey fur is $21 a yard. It's bad. So I literally would never recommend this fur. You can see how thin it is. Like you can see the bottom of it. It's ridiculously thin. I guess if you're making crafts, that's fine. But for a fursuit, the backing is really stiff. It's scratchy. It's really thin. Like, would never attempt to shave this at all. And lengthwise, it's about the same as shag. So at this point, I would just go with shag. It comes in the same colors as shag for the most part, and I've only ever found this fur on fabric.com. So I wouldn't recommend this guy. So yeah, that's that. So now we're getting back into the good fur. Sorry, just had to get those out there. I always order swatches before. Whenever a new fur comes out, I try to get a swatch of it just so I can see is this good? Is this not good? And for those three, I got a swatch and I was like, no. So the next one is going to be one of my favorite furs. Beaver. Sorry. There's so much fur in the air right now. So Beaver, you can get this from a bunch of different websites. For the most part, the standard colors are white, black, ivory, and a fawn color. That's pretty much all the colors you'll find unless you go to the LA district or you get it from a Fursuit Supplies custom runs. But the reason why I love Beaver is it's soft. It shaves really nicely. Some lots. I have had one lot that shaved terrible. It is a little shiny, but to me it's not the worst, so it doesn't bother me that much. It's dense, so when you shave it, it doesn't go back to the backing unless you go hardcore. And it's just a really, for the most part, if I use this on toes or ears, I don't shave it. The only time I ever shave it is when I go the muzzle. So this is actually ivory, but their white is snow white, meaning it's pure white. It's gonna be white. I'll get more into the white colors when I get into CR Crafts. But yeah, so Beaver, love Beaver. If you can get it in exotic colors, eat that stuff up. I've sometimes found, I have a neon orange I got in the New York Fashion District, and I've been hoarding that like crazy. But yeah, so Beaver, one of my favorites. It does have a nice backing. The con to this is just the colors. It's not available in a lot of colors, readily available. A lot of, Fursuit Supplies has been doing a lot of custom runs for it, so that's helping. And then you can get the nicer colors in the LA Fashion District. So the next fur is, we're going to be talking kind of about two furs because they're mostly the same. So this is Sable. This is fabric.com Sable. It is $30 a yard. It is super, super soft, ridiculously soft. If you're making a realistic suit, this is not the fur you want. This is teddy bear soft. So it shaves. It can get choppy. You have to take this down really easily and slow. The only thing I do not like about Sable is the backing. So this is one I was telling you guys about how with certain backings you're going to have a lot of issue. I don't know if this is going to focus, but with this one, this is a woven backing. So with this guy, I'm also going to talk about, I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I have no idea how to pronounce this. Tinsel. We're just going to go Tinsel. It's Tisavel. So this specific fur I got from the UK. So you can also buy this type of fur on fabric.com. Not this color, but this type of fur. It's thicker than Sable and a little bit longer. But when it comes to the backing, it's the same backing. So they're both woven backings. So the big thing with the woven backings, it frays and it just falls apart. So right now this swatch is a year plus old and it's fine. But that's because it's not being used. I have a suit made of this kind of fur, and you have to finish every edge, not just a straight stitch. You have to either serge that end, put some kind of sealant on the end, or over edge that end with a zigzag. If you don't do that, this fur literally just falls apart. So it's a wonderful fur, but you have to end whenever you end a seam, you have to do something. With the neck fur, you have to put something on the bottom of that neck fur, or else it will literally just fall apart. So that's the worst thing about this fur is the backing. You just have to learn how to go with that backing. This also, so the Sable's $30 a yard. The Tinsel can range from 75 to 100 plus a yard. When you order it from the UK, it's a lot more expensive. They have a larger variety because that's more of the standard fur over there, I guess. But the ones you get in the US, they're going to be expensive. So really, unless they have a color like this blue color, they did not have in America. So I had to go with the Tissaville, and it matched the orange that I got from Tissaville. So I don't fully, if you're a newbie maker, I don't recommend that fur. But if you know how to use the difficult backings, then it's a good fur to play with. So the next one is going to be Afghan Hound. So this guy right here, he is a newer fur, about like a year and a half, been on the market, maybe 2 years. So the thing with him, pros, he is long, he doesn't mat as much, but he is still thin. So this fur I would only use for accents, like the bottom of the tail, the cheek fluff, like the chest fluff, maybe the butt fluff, if it didn't go into your crotch. Mainly because this fur does mat pretty easily. I also don't recommend shaving it. It is thin, so if you like hold it upside down, it gets a really nice fluff there. So good for accents, not really good for anything else. Afghan Hound is 34 yard. It comes in coral, gray, black, white, a blue color. I think there's another color, but I don't know for sure. I've only ever bought the gray because I need it for an accent. Just be aware that I would not use this all over a body. So the next fur is another one of my favorites, and that is Arctic Fox. So Arctic Fox I love it. It is thick, it is nice. It's basically a much thicker, sleeker shag. So it shaves wonderfully. It's great for like fluffy pieces like the bottom of tails. This can also be used on the whole body. Like, it's very nice. It will mat like any longer things. The only fur that I found that does not really mat is Beaver or the shorter piles. It's just the length. Some furs mat like more than others, like Shag and Mongolian. Arctic Fox doesn't mat as much, but it still does mat. It's a longer pile. But yeah, so Arctic Fox is shinier, but to me, the shininess outweighs all the other, or the other pros outweigh the shininess. Bad things about Arctic Fox, it only comes in a selective number of colors. So this is steel. It comes in a midnight blue, a black, a white, an ivory. No, I don't actually think it comes in ivory. And maybe like one or two other colors. I have found a red Arctic Fox before, and I have not been able to find it for like 3 years now. So yeah, so that's that. I don't know if I told you the price. Arctic Fox is like $36 a yard. You can get Arctic Fox from a few different vendors. But yeah, so that's the Fabric.com one. So the next fur is actually a fur I've been seeing a lot less of. I don't know if they've just solely stopped making it. Fabric.com has pulled all of it off of their website, so they don't even sell this fur anymore. You can still find it on a few different websites, but it's becoming harder. So the next is going to be tinsel fur and sparkle fur. So we'll go, basically these are both like slightly longer shag. The base fur is slightly longer than shag. So we'll start off with sparkle fur. Sparkle fur is thinner. It is great for like accent pieces. As you can see, it fluffs really nicely. It is a longer pile. So sparkle fur will have tinsel in it that is this, it's not going to come out, the same color as, or slightly different color than the base fur. So like the pink will have a dark red or dark pink color. If you wanted to, you could sit here and pull out all of the tinsel. The tinsel is just knotted in the back. It's not really a part of the fur. You can sit there and pick it all out and have yourself a nice long accent pile. It's just going to take you a lot of time. So yeah, this shaves down fine-ish. I have sparkle fur on my personal suit. I like sparkle fur in accents. It can be a little overwhelming if you use it for more than accents, but overall I do like sparkle fur. It's a good fur, but it's becoming really hard to find. So next we get tinsel fur. So some people, there's a difference. Some people don't know there's a difference, but sparkle fur and tinsel fur is a big difference. This is a very, this is the most extreme you'll see in the differences. But they also, I don't like tinsel fur, so I don't have any with me, so I can't show you an example of what like pink tinsel fur looks like. But basically, tinsel fur is a lot thicker, but as you can see, it has a lot more tinsel in it. So the tinsel in tinsel fur will also be a different color than the base fur. So like the tinsel version of the pink will have like silver tinsel in it. So it's a lot thicker, but it's full of tinsel. So this specifically is the electric shag tinsel, which I have not been able to find this since. But this is just the most extreme I can show you about the difference between the two. Just know that tinsel fur will have more tinsel than sparkle fur. And to me, it's too distracting. I like sparkle fur more. But yeah, so tinsel fur, sparkle fur, they are 25-ish a yard, depending on where you find it. Like I said, it's becoming a little harder to find it, unfortunately. So the next one is we're going to get to monster fur, so monster fur, that is feather fur, that is not monster fur. I skipped a fur. We're still going to go with monster fur though. So monster fur used to be called monkey shag. So don't get this confused with Fabric.com's current monkey shag, because on other websites it will be called monkey shag. That's the hard part. The worst part about fur is that it's called so many different things depending on what website you're on. So for Fabric.com, they call it monster shag, which is also the name of a bad type of fur from different places. Order swatches. So monster shag touches here as well. It is long. It can be nice. The issue with this guy is the backing. So you'll see that monster, monkey, whatever you want to call this fur, it will have this type of spotted backing. It needs to be hemmed correctly, like the Sable and the tinsel. If you do not, this fabric will literally just pull right off. It is nice. You have to end it though. Like this swatch is very old. That's why it's all crinkled. This is a better selection of it. It is thinner, but it is really nice and long. I'm gonna go with like 4 inches or more here. Monster comes in this black blonde, brown blonde, red black, and a few other colors, and then the solid colors are going to be your standard DF colors. Luxury shag. Thing about DF. Shag used to be called DF shag because most fursuit makers were getting their fur from distinctive fabrics, and they just call it shag. So now it's just called luxury shag. That transferred over like a few years ago. People just stopped going with DF and just say luxury shag now. But yeah, so they come in pretty much the same color shag does. Just be aware of the backing. The backing will kill you, man. I mean, it won't actually kill you, but you know what I mean. So, monster and monkey go for like 39 a yard or more. When I first saw the monkey, or the monster, which was the black white one, or black tan, well, whatever. When I first saw it, it was at the New York City Fashion District, and it was like 65 a yard. So now it is available online. This was before you could buy it online. It is now available online through multiple sites, and for about 39 a yard. So the next fur, which I skipped, oops, this guy is $40 a yard, and it is feather fur. So this isn't the best example of feather fur, but feather fur will typically have a darker base, and it'll go out to be like white, black, white striped with certain colors into it. So this is what the backing looks like. Overall, nice backing. It's a nice, thick, soft fur. The issue with this is the pattern. I'm not one to use pattern fur. You can make pattern fur look really nice. I just do not have that talent. But yeah, so feather fur, it's a nice fur. If you're making a bird, you might be able to make it work for you. But overall, I like feather fur, I just don't like the pattern of it. Hey guys, sorry about the weird cut, ran out of time, and I don't know how to do like fancy video editing, so I'm just gonna plop this video in there. So, the next fur is gonna be 2 different types of fur that are kind of the same. So, it's gonna be mink and bunny. So mink fur is by far my favorite fur to work with. It is shorter than shag, it doesn't mat as much, it is thick, it shaves so nicely, it's got a nice strong backing. The bad problem with it, it only comes in like 5 colors. So it comes in a maroon color, this teal color, black, white, a tan color, and then it used to come in a blueberry, like purpley color, but that color kind of disappeared. I'm not sure what happened to it, but it's gone. So yeah, so mink, love this fur. It closely resembles bunny. So this is an example of bunny, and this is kind of also a sample of bunny as well. This is diamond teal, and then this is a green bunny my customer sent me to work on her current commission. Bunny can be slightly longer and softer, but in my experience, bunny and mink are practically the same fur, just bunny's a little bit softer. Bunny is harder to find. You can find it from a few different websites. Fabric.com does not sell bunny. Fursuit Supplies also does a lot of custom run in bunny. So if you find bunny, it's typically a good color. But yeah, so that's going to be the hardest one to find. So on Fabric.com, there's a lot of different types of fur that I did not talk about here. The reason being is I just don't prefer them. You have yak, which is like Mongolian, so it mats really easily. You also have like desert fox and luxury fox. Actually, the luxury fur I do have an example of, so I'll show that to you in a second. But yeah, a lot of these furs I just personally don't prefer. You can order swatches of them. Like I said, I don't prefer them, so I don't have them. One of the examples is they have a luxe fur, Lux fur. Within this category, there's a bunch of different kinds. So for the first one, I have this one, which this one is, I would say, mink bunny length. So the issue with a lot of their luxe furs, excuse me, they're patterned. And as I've talked about before, I'm not big on pre-patterned fur. So like this guy, it's a very nice fur. It's thick. It probably shaves really nicely, but the pattern. If you're like looking for this coral color and you only need a little bit, you can easily cut out that little bit. But if you're like wanting more of it, you're going to get stuck with just this guy. So yeah, you could use this to your advantage, but it's really, I feel like it's more work than what it's worth. These guys are about $40 a yard or more. I also have their amber Canadian fox, and that one is a really nice fur. It's thick and only has some black guard hairs, which isn't that bad, but a lot of their other luxe furs are patterned. So just order your swatches. They range from like beaver to bunny height. So yeah, so that's pretty much all the fur I'm going to talk about from Fabric.com. We still have a few more that we're going to talk about. So first off is Distinctive Fabrics, which I mentioned a little bit ago. They're an okay website. I used to order from them all the time before I found Fabric.com. Fabric.com, by the way, I know I've explained this before, but I order from them so much because of the free shipping. So our Distinctive Fabric has pretty much the same selection of furs. The only different fur that they have is Marmot. Pronouncing that wrong, I know, I apologize. Marmot is about $19 a yard, and that's what this guy here is. So it does come in different colors, including this coral color. So the coral color, I do have a yard, only because you can't really find this color in other furs. Issue with Marmot fur, it's thin. You cannot shave this fur. If you shave it, you will see the backing. It feels plasticky, so it's not really soft. I only used it on one marking, and now I have a yard of it that I don't know what to do with, basically. So if you really need the color, it will work in a pinch, but I don't fully recommend this. You can also get a bonded Marmot, which means the back of it has like a suede thing to it, so I guess for cosplay it might be a little okay. But yeah, so Marmot, don't really recommend it, but you can use it if you don't have the color. Oh, I'm so sorry. There's so much fur everywhere, and it's like getting all up in my throat, and I know my voice is starting to get a little scratchy, and I have it all over my nose, and I know, like, it's really inappropriate to, like, wipe my nose so much, but oh god, there's fur everywhere. The problems with fursuit making, okay? So, next, we're getting to CR Crafts. So, CR Crafts, they do have more furs that they used to. So, they are starting to carry shag and fox fur, or not fox fur, Arctic fox, and a few other different types. But these furs that I'm about to talk about, I've only found them for the most part on Mendel's. Or Sierra Crafts. Sorry. Went into Mendel's. Have I? Oh, I already talked about Mendel's. So Sierra Crafts, they're the only ones to have these furs in my experience. There might be other places under different names, but this is what they are here. So the first one is going to be your Cubby Bear. It's about $20 a yard. So this is not, no this is. So Cubby Bear is about this guy right here. It is shorter. Not a terrible fur. It's thinner. So if you need it for something specific, like this red fox is a good fox color. It matches their longer pile red fox perfectly. So like if you need a shorter pile and a longer pile, Cubby Bear is okay. I don't mind it that much. I don't do a whole lot. It's mostly only available in browns and like natural colors, which is why I don't use this fur a whole lot, because I don't do a whole lot of natural colored animals. But for realistic makers, I know my one friend who makes realistic suits. She loves Sierra Crafts. Like she almost only shops Sierra Crafts. So next fur is Teddy Fur, which is 23 yard. Teddy Fur is slightly longer. This Honeybone is one color I do use a lot. It's a very nice blonde color. It is going to be about the length of a mink. It is shorter. So that's a little bit, or not shorter, thinner. Not too thin, but it is thinner and less dense than like mink is. But it is available in a bunch of different colors. So this is their Teddy Furs. I do recommend their Teddy Furs. It is not soft. It's not soft at all. It's very coarse, which is another reason why my realistic friend, she really likes using it. It also shaves really nicely. So Teddy Fur is another fur that you can get. So with the Teddy Fur and the Cubby Fur, I'll also talk about Fox. Fox is a long piled fur. A little scraggly. It is coarser like the rest of their fur. It's not soft. It is coarse. But it has a nice poof to it, and it does stay how you do it for the most part. It only comes in white and black. The biggest issue with this fur and the Teddy Fur is they have white and they have ivory. Their white is not Snow White. So these two match. Their Teddy White and their Fox White match perfectly with each other. But if you use this white and put it next to Shag White, which is Snow White, this will look ivory. If you put this next to ivory, it will look whiter. But just know that if you mix the white Fox or the white Teddy with a white Beaver or white Shag or white Arctic Fox, it will look ivory and it will look bad, in my opinion. Some people can make ivory next to white turn out good. To me, the white will make the ivory look dirty. So just be aware if you're ordering either of these whites to know that these are not Snow White. A good way to tell under like natural light or under indoor lighting, they will appear the same color. But the moment you take it outside, you will notice a difference. So just be aware of that when you do order fur. The last bit of fur we're going to talk about is, well, not the last. One of the furs I don't recommend for like normal suits is Sharpei. Sharpei is about $11 a yard. It can be good for like lamb suits. That's about all I recommend it for fursuit wise. It is crinkled. It's going to look crinkled. There's no way getting that out. So the furs that I don't have examples of, that I will talk to you about, is one of my favorites as well, and it's called, I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, I apologize, Flotakai or Flotako. I don't know how the correct pronunciation of it. White is the most common one, and it is like 4.5 inches. Any of my fur suits that you see that have the long, flowy white, that's gonna be Flotakai. I've only seen it available in the fashion district and on fursuit supplies. Fursuit supplies is about $35 a yard, and the fashion district it's about $65 a yard or more. So yeah, it's really expensive. It is really nice. I've never shaved it. I've never had a reason to shave it. It is Snow White, so it does not match the Fox or the Teddy White, but it does match Beaver and White Shag perfectly. It is great. I love it. You can on occasion find it in different colors. This most recent trip I went to the New York City Fashion District and I found 5 yards of it in red. So I bought all 5 yards of it. Technically, Elk bought some, and then some of my realistic makers bought some as well. But occasionally you'll find it in different colors. Fursuit Supplies has done a custom run of silver and black, which is really, really nice. I haven't ordered any just because I don't have a purpose to order any. But yeah, so the white, I always try to keep white on hand. I do have some up there, but it's in a roll, and I didn't feel like bringing the whole roll down here. So yeah, that's Floaticai. What other colors? For the most part, that's the most common furs you'll run into. If you guys have any like concerns with the fur, or like you see a fur that I didn't mention or you don't really know about, always get a swatch. Like, I cannot preach to get a swatch enough. It will save you so much money. Trust me. So yeah, so that's gonna conclude my little fur review. If you guys have any questions about any other type of fur, you can leave them down below. I might be able to answer them or might not be able to answer them, but no harm in asking. For our next video, I'll probably be going over, I ordered a large AliExpress fur order. So we'll probably be doing an unboxing for that if it comes before I leave for Japan. If not, you'll get that video after I get back. This might be the last video I make before I leave for Japan, but we will see if I have anything to post before Japan. If not, I will be back to my regular schedule in October. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything you want me to talk about or review or go over, please leave them down in the comment below. Subscribe if you want. It'd really be helpful. Outside of that, I hope you have a wonderful day. See ya!